Welcome to the webinar, your first year of private practice. Welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. So a couple ways for you to get the most out of this training today is first, put your phone on airplane mode. When you're in sessions, I would imagine that you don't answer calls. I imagine you're not trying to multitask. Be here for yourself. You set this time aside for yourself. So put your phone on airplane mode. Next, really focus in, take lots of notes, pay attention, figure out what your questions are, where are you going to get stuck. And next, take as many notes as you can. I would love for you to tag us on social media. It's always fun when people tag us on Instagram or on Facebook of the notes that they took from this. And then lastly, take some action afterwards. So, create a to-do list of the first couple things that you want to do to really get your practice off the ground, to get it going. So who am I? My name is Joe Sanok, and I had a group practice from 2006 until 2019 when I sold it. We got up to 14 people in my group practice, and it was in completely private pay practice. And really that started because I wanted to pay off student loan debt and really didn't necessarily know what I was doing. And all the insurances were closed at that time for paneling. And so started with private pay and just stuck with it. Now I consult with people who are starting, growing, and scaling private practices. A handful of people that are even exiting their private practices, have helped with some sales of those. I have two kids right there. They are 8 and 11. They're amazing. I'm a single dad, and I love paddleboarding. That's one thing. We live close to the water here in northern Michigan, and I love to go paddleboarding. Also, we have the #1 podcast for counselors in private practice. We do 4 episodes a week, if you didn't know that. So lots and lots of content with 60 to 100,000 listens a month. And so a lot of really just interesting content and people that we get to interview and talk to. So just a little bit about who Practice of the Practice has helped. We've helped over 500 therapists start their private practices through Next Level Practice, and over 200 practices through Group Practice Boss. We have a proven process that's based on 15 years of private practice experience, as well as helping between those 700 that have been through our membership communities. And we've helped over 1,000 private practices individually. And then we've also been recognized since 2018 when the Best in Therapy Awards started, with with 9 awards for top podcast, top consultant, top website, top membership communities. So, we're trying to do really good work, and we're also getting recognized by it. And recently we added up how much we've been able to help influence the mental health market. And our members have collected over $25 million in sales through their private practices. When I did that math and, was looking at people, and how much they had put in, to realize just the impact of something that our team supports in helping the mental health crisis in America and throughout the world, to say, wow, over $25 million in sales. Those are genuine lives that have been changed through the work that we are all doing as a team. Well, if we go back to 2009, I had a side gig kind of counseling practice, and I was trying to pay off student loan debt. And I moved into my family's basement back to my hometown, and I got a job as a foster care supervisor. That's where I was. I also wore a funny hat while sailing. But this is more important, how I felt. I felt overwhelmed because I had a full-time job, was starting this counseling practice in a new town. Websites were, I remember putting out on Facebook, does anyone have any clue how to make a website? And a friend of mine, she said she had built her own, and she wasn't like a techie person. And I just was like, what? You built your own website? In regards to marketing, I had no idea anything about marketing. In-person networking felt kind of slimy. Like I got to pass out my business card to these people. How much do I talk about my business? How much do I not? From a mindset perspective around money, I kept hearing from people, we didn't go in it for the money. And over, I was hearing this. And I remember being at this Licensed Professional Counselors of Northern Michigan summer picnic. And I'm sitting with all these other private practitioners. I'm newer to the area, and they're lamenting about how they feel like economically, they're maybe a step or two ahead of a lot of their clients. And a lot of these folks were seeing folks on Medicare and Medicaid. And they were just saying, we're not making any money in private practice. And it just looked really bleak to me. And I didn't know any better. I had no idea what to charge. I looked on Psychology Today and saw that most people were charging $80 for private pay. So I charged $70. Just had no clue how to even figure out any of that. I didn't know where to find clients. I thought, okay, so I'm open. I have a place. I have a website. Now, how do I get people to even know that I exist? I tried so many different things. I was writing blog posts and I'd be on local radio and get coffee once in a while with people, but it was really hard to know what was even working. And I didn't even know what didn't work. And so it just felt like I was totally alone in this whole private practice thing. So if you felt any of this, would love for you to just say yes in the chat, because there's something about just being with other people and saying, yeah, like I feel that. That just, even if we're still alone in our communities, to say, yeah, holy cow, I felt that. Look at all those yeses. We can together feel, oh, that's not fun. I don't like that. But we can also say, well, let's learn some things today. Let's say it doesn't have to be that way. And I hope that by the end of this training, that you feel a sense of hope, that you feel a sense of organization, and that you really understand some of your next steps. So let's just start with, it's not you, it's them. Grad school kind of screwed us over. We learned a lot around the clinical side, as we should, as therapists, counselors, psychologists, social workers, you may be, a life coach, whatever schooling you had, yes, that should be primary. If you're ophthalmologist, was really great at business, but terrible with working on your eyes, like that's not what you want. But we learned so much about working in nonprofits and running groups, all these things. But the idea of running a business and running a private practice, so many professors, they may do a couple clinical hours a week just to kind of stay relevant. But grad school really doesn't teach us the basics of business. And I hope that today this can really be a training that helps you kind of make that bridge between the clinical and really what's working in the business world. So we have 3 lessons that we need to undo first. And so the first one is that busyness is not business. So being, quote, busy doesn't actually set you up for a great business. Having the proper infrastructure and systems that will help you, that's what's going to help you. And if you don't plan it correctly, it's going to be just another job. It's not going to be a business. So a job, when you don't show up, you don't get paid. A job, if you go on vacation and don't have vacation time or take time off, you don't get paid. Your time is what gets you paid. And so that's what a job is. A business is something that can hopefully make you business in a predictable way, that you put in time to, but also you have other people supporting you. And so we want to talk about, how do you level up in your first year of business to position yourself to really have a business and to not just be giving yourself another job. The second lesson that we really need to undo is the idea that money is bad, that if you're making money, that's bad. The amount of times that I've heard therapists that are in private practice be scolded for making a decent living or a great living, it's just amazing. We can have a plumber come to our house and have an emergency plumbing situation before a family reunion or Christmas Eve dinner, and they charge $200 an hour or 300 if you could even get them right now. And people don't blink at that. But if there's a therapist that charges 200 or 300, there's still this stigma that money is bad, and we need to undo that. Because the truth is that money magnifies what's already there. So if you're bad and you make more money, you're going to be a bigger jerk. You have more resources. But if you're good and you make more money, you're going to continue to help the world. You're going to continue to do things for the world. And then the third lesson we need to undo is that the best do the best. I still remember when I was in college, I was driving with my dad. I was visiting for like the weekend or Christmas break or something like that. And I was really nervous. I said to him, there's so many psychology majors. It just seems like, how am I ever going to get a job when I get out of school? There's just so many. And he said to me, and he was a school psychologist. My mom was a school nurse. Like they were in that whole employment world. Like I didn't have the base of business. But he said, if you're a straight A student and you're the best, you'll always have a job. No pressure there. Just be the best and then you'll have a job. But the truth is that oftentimes the best don't do the best. The truth is that you can be great, but if your clients don't know that you exist, which is the marketing side, and you don't have a very clear system for them to get started, which is the onboarding and the system side, you won't grow nearly as quickly. So like we often see our next level practice people grow to have a full caseload within 3 to 6 months because they have good systems, they have good marketing, they know here's the exact to-do list that I need to do. Whereas people that are just, trying your best, you often flounder. I mean, that's what I did. I floundered for years until I got some help. I got some coaching. I got some support to know, oh, okay, here's how people make decisions around business. Here's how people make decisions around working with you. Here's how they decide if they want to come see you as a therapist. People make decisions on really 3 simple things. Do they know you exist? Do they like you? And do they trust you? And this process doesn't have to be months long. It can be, hey, I didn't know that Bruce existed before, 5, 10 minutes ago. Now I know he exists. Okay. He went from the category of the entire population of the world that I don't know to people's names that I at least know. And then, well, I'm sure that if I talk to Bruce a little bit, I would hope that I would like him. Okay. So he seems like a likable guy. He's somebody that, maybe is into things that I'm into. And then do I trust him? Would I trust to go to therapy with him? Well, I'd want to see, does his expertise line up with what my needs are? Is he in my area? Is he someone that has a reputation around town? And so people can go through this know, like, and trust in just a couple minutes. They can find out from a friend on Facebook, oh, this therapist is amazing. They go check out your website, they read through it, they say, oh my gosh, that's exactly what my daughter needs. She needs a play therapist. And we're going through a divorce, and this is the exact therapist. I like this person. They have a dog, and my daughter loves dogs. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then you maybe have a quick phone call with that therapist, and then they trust that this is going to be a good fit. So it can be very quickly, but so many times therapists just think that because I'm the best, or I'm doing really well, that I'm going to fill up, and that's just not true, unfortunately.